Going back now to our top story, the ANC and the DA have wrapped up another round of talks in an attempt to break the impasse over the budget and the Government of National Unity's future. Both have issued statements describing the talks as constructive. Let's speak now to the chairperson of the Federal Council of the Democratic Alliance, Helen Zille. Helen, good to have you. Thank you very much for your time. The ANC saying, well, we are still gung-ho on this idea of what they call resetting of the GNU. Do you understand what that concept is? Are you in agreement with that concept, and what does it look like for you?
Well, I have asked several times exactly what they mean by resetting. And interestingly enough, they say to me that it's a word that they first heard from the DA. So as we understand it from today's meeting, I would believe that resetting means working from the foundation of the statement of intent and making sure that that finds root in internal institutions that function and that meet regularly.
So you are not of the view that there needs to be new rules that should now be introduced in how partners in the GNU should behave, particularly when it comes to decisions made by the cabinet?
Well, there's no reason why there shouldn't be rules that build on the statement of intent as the foundational framework of the GNU. Obviously, those have to be developed by agreement, but it would be a very good start if we could just apply the rules we've already agreed on.
Yeah. And in the meeting today, you say it was very respectful from both ends, and the ANC saying very constructive. Do you get a sense that there is a willingness and earnest effort in a meaningful power sharing arrangement?
Well, that we will still have to see. We did have a constructive discussion. We were very frank and open, as we always are. We put our concerns on the table, especially in relation to the VAT increase, which we oppose, and in relation to the way the budget impasse happened. And we agree that the systems and the structures that exist must meet. And if there is a need for further processes or internal institutions or rules, then let's develop them. But we have to do that on the basis of making sure the current foundations are working well.
Speaking of current foundations, there's this view that the ANC continues to hold, and I've heard them say before that there are no parameters that bar them from talking to other stakeholders and other people outside of the GNU. And even in their statement today, they're saying the ANC will continue to engage all GNU partners, civil society, and other stakeholders in pursuit of a stable, inclusive, and effective government that places the interests of South Africans at heart. And this has been a bone of contention as to whether or not parties within the GNU can go speak to other parties outside of the GNU. What do you make of that statement?
Obviously, anybody can speak to anybody. I mean, we live in a democracy and anybody's allowed to speak to anybody. That's how we understand things. However, when you are in a GNU and you're trying to reach some kind of resolution on a complex issue, then you cannot go and speak to other parties as an alternative to trying to find common ground with your internal GNU partners, especially the major GNU partner that gives you sufficient consensus, namely the DA. Then it does not seem to be good faith that you don't continue those discussions in a quest to find a solution, but that you merely go and shop for votes elsewhere.
Now that has actually been the case, because, I mean, the ANC has met with other parties, including the EFF, party that is not in the GNU. They reached out to MK Party, who rejected their advance. But nonetheless, they're saying we are talking to all parties. Now that that is happening, how does the DA go forward from that?
See, we've never stopped anybody from talking to all parties. The question is, are we making our statement of intent work within the GNU? Anybody can speak to anybody in a free society. There's no bar on that. But when you are trying to resolve issues amongst partners in a government of national unity, then you are bound by your statement of intent as the foundation and your other agreed positions. And in that context, you don't violate those rules to go and get votes elsewhere with parties that are not in the GNU. That's the only point we made.
Are your members who are part of cabinet staying put? Are they planning to resign? Are they still at work, continuing with their functions?
Well, we're at work and we're continuing with our functions, and we're working towards genuine power sharing. We're working to ensure that we have a growth plan on the table and real improvements in the environment for investment, growth, and jobs, so that more people can be working and less people can be sitting at home or on the streets and feeling desperate about their prospects in life. That is why the DA is in the GNU. And so we won't keep quiet just to go along to get along. Obviously, that's not who we are. We are there to try and ensure that the GNU can rescue South Africa by fostering conditions for economic growth, for getting more people into jobs. That is the single most important requirement, and we won't stop fighting for that.
Helen, appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. Chairperson of the Federal Council of the Democratic Alliance there, Helen Zille, following those talks between the DA and the ANC on the way forward within the Government of National Unity and how to unlock that budget impasse.